Moving on to a very, very delicate matter. This is very, very delicate, and I would like to be very objective as well. It could end up being one of the two dragging parts, but it's fine. That's okay. That's why we're here. I started watching football. My first game for football was... I fell in love with football because of the name Salvatore Toto Squillaci. Yes. 1990 Italian 19.
But you don't old though.
But I...
you know Squillaci in the 1991.
The only Squillaci I know now, the one we play for us now.
That Baba Wiri.
That's actually the name that made me like football. I didn't
Salvatore Squillaci.
I didn't. It was Aizio scorer from Italian 19.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, that was the name, right? So, but I watched my first game, in '94, and then my first major game in '94. Moving on, I'm one of the few people. Maybe some of our guys here will share the sentiment that for you to enjoy football, you have to clearly understand that there is a footballer on the pitch, and then there is a man outside the football pitch. They are two different things. They are two different things. Fernando Hierro has an aviation certificate. He's one of the finest defenders ever. Andoni Goicoechea is called the butcher of Bilbao. He was the guy that almost ended the career of Maradona. He played for Bilbao against Barcelona. If you can Google it, Andoni Goicoechea is an animal on the football pitch. But he's a complete gentleman of it. These days, he's been to what they call Bible school and seminary and whatever. There's a particular player for Fiorentina back in the day. He's a Brazilian. They call him Edmundo. His nickname was The Animal.
Yeah, yes. Edmundo.
Yeah,
I remember
Edmundo The Animal.
Yeah.
Now, I'm saying this, putting life example just to show you how players can be so good and animalistic at the same time on the football pitch. But outside the football pitch,
they're different
people. So understand it, guys, that a life on the football pitch is different. That's why when people are surprised about Greenwood, this allegations and stuff, even because nothing is confirmed for now, so it's still an allegation, right?
Yeah.
About the rape issue, I wasn't surprised because I understood that footballers get different ways where they live life and stuff. So just love the footballer. Live the life out of it. This is a conversation that is a precursor to what I'm about to say about Nigeria's most valuable centre forward right now, one of Africa's finest, Victor Osimhen. As a footballer, is a footballer you want in your team.
Of course.
A friend of mine had an issue with him. He said he used to do big man for football pitch. Said that he always a worker for pitch. But most of the time when he works like that, is his presence.
Yeah.
And that's the way he carries himself. Some footballers have the way they carry themselves, and that's fine.
Definitely.
Of course, Ronaldo would do his own small step over before he take free kick and penalty. Osimhen is that kind of player. He's filled with so much energy. He leads from the front. He's a one-man battery ram. He's comfortable playing with a striker or playing alone. So he's a fantastic footballer. I take nothing away from him. But I think at some levels, and this is just me being me, at some levels, there are some things you cannot do consistently, or there are some reactions that is not expected from you. This brings me to the conversation on our screen right now that ensued between, let me put it out there, former African Footballer of the Year, Victor Ikpeba. I don't know what it means to be an African Footballer of the Year because I'm not a footballer, but I think, judging by what I've read and the number of books I've read, it's a big deal. Being the best player in your continent, not in your country. And so that means by virtue of that experience, you are like an institution.
Yeah.
Now, the things you say may not be correct every time because you're a human being and you can be full of shit sometimes. But sometimes when there are things that could be said, let it be said, especially if the person is doing his job. And before we started rolling our camera in, he said something about criticisms. In he's a master of ceremonies, I'm a master of ceremonies myself. Sometimes when I get criticized, I don't know, there's a time you wrote something to me one time, and then I was like, coming from you, I am honored. Now, that coming from you is how I take my criticisms. The day we dragged Maduka on this show, a lot of people come to my inbox saying a lot of stuff and all. So what I did was that I was now going to their page to go and see if you are worth my reply. That's what I do. If you criticize me, I think, okay, what are you saying to me? And then who are you? So if you get like 20 years experience in broadcasting, you've been there, you've done that, you are a name, and if you call me out, I'm coming to you to say, Aoji, please teach me. Master, sensei, I submit to you. Because I am looking at who is saying something to me, not what he said sometimes. So now, Monday Night Football, Victor Ikpeba is discharging his duties. As usual, citizens will always come flying here and there. And Victor Ikpeba went out to say, you know what? The chance in that game where he did a bicycle kick, he could have come down to control the ball. It was 50-50. He could have done it. If that bicycle kick, it was a spectacular one. If it had gone in, all of us would be applauding, right? But it didn't go in, and that's why we're having this conversation. So step forward, Victor Osimhen replies and says, in Yoruba, Adie Fufu Komora Elagba, meaning a white cockerel, a white chicken doesn't know it's elderly because white chickens are regal, right? They are monarch because they are all white and they are all without blemish. So you should be carrying yourself in a certain way. And then he also went on to say, Pondit Isono, meaning useless pundit. I don't care who you are. And Agbaya, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done. That's an African footballer of the year. He didn't win it once. He won it twice, I think. I'm not sure, even if it is once. The truth is, maybe the things he said could have come out bad, but it was a very shit show for almost everybody on that pitch. And Victor Osimhen was part of that team, but he was one of the ones that stood out. I'm a big fan of Victor Osimhen. But I think he's a tacky social media person.
Definitely.
I think he's tacky. I think he's not coordinated on social media. I see him dropping memes.
Yeah.
So now I'm picturing in my head seeing David Beckham dropping memes. I'm picturing in my head seeing global icon like Marcus Rashford dropping memes.
Or Cristiano
Ronaldo dropping memes and then bantering with everyone.
Do you think Osimhen thinks he will ever be as great as those people you just mentioned?
Maybe that's another angle.
He doesn't believe that.
Sometimes,
because I think if you believe that, you probably don't do those things.
You know, sometimes I see messages and then he hounds regular people. Because the truth is, if you cannot stay in the kitchen, you have to get out of it. In that spotlight, you will be dragged.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a normal
that spotlight,
thing.
you will be dragged. And
Definitely.
then Aziza Toshola goes out to say, and then she says, really, them say, make you know, do bicycle kick. Tacky. I'm imagining Mata typing something like this. And I'm imagining Abi One Back typing something like this. I'm imagining some of the greatest footballers typing things like this. And then Victor says, I go continue to do. I'm not be that point. He go tell me waiting to do. Agbaya. I think there's a bad blood maybe before because he looks at something else what must have happened before now that we do not know.
Yeah. First things first.
And then let me just finish this whole thing. I'm coming to you. Elegbete says, I won't laugh, but I keep quiet. But it's a reaction of pain and emotion. Afi Judge of the joke. I don't think he was insulted. I read the thread. I watched the show. I don't think it was a direct insult. It was a pundit saying what everybody knew that we were bad on that day. And he didn't say Victor was bad. He said that particular opportunity. But the truth is, Victor Osimhen is not the finished article yet. Don't make that mistake about it. Mm-hmm. He's still very far off being the finished article.
Yeah, true.
He's not, in his position, he's not top 5 in the world.
Nah.
No, top 10 is not. I'm sorry.
In his position right now.
He's not top 10.
Let's be factual.
We can count many strikers who are better than him.
Yeah. So what that means is that...
But his age, what about his age range?
Yeah, that's what we are saying.
Even at his age range,
guys, please let's just make sure what we're saying, because that's what you guys do. So we are putting it out there. Victor Osimhen is not the finished article yet.
He's not.
He's a fine work in progress.
Near, actually.
He's a fine work in progress. You can see it. It is visible to all of us that this guy is gold. But that's the football, and I love the football. But it's not in my position to make me happy, but I'm doing my job right now. And I think his reaction on social media, judging by the standard that he has achieved, not as if he achieved anything in football, but judging by the standard of which he plays and where he is right now in his life, in his career, I think a better reaction would have saved this better.
That sufficed.
Ikpeba. So how about you buzz him? OG, Omo, I beg. What's wrong? I mean, we heard at the game between Sweden and I think, was it Sweden and the last person they played? There was a conversation Ibrahimovic had, and Ibrahimovic said, I'm talking too much on this. I'll probably just drop it because it's quite annoying. Ibrahimovic said he played with Elanga's father. And at that time, in Malmo. And that time, he was excited. And now he's playing with Elanga's son, now Elanga of Man United. And then he sees in Elanga that he wants to learn and stuff. Nothing stops you from saying, OG, You know, go back to just come around your house, come do small shoot about. Or the only guy who has a stadium, a small mini stadium in his house, where some boys come and play football.
Stuff.
This could have been better managed. Not, you don't have to show the Igboro, I be street kid, we just come and nobody follow me talk anyhow. Yeah, that's you, that's fine. But there's an appeal that comes with some certain places.
Yeah, of course.
There's a certain level of appeal.
Yeah.
You go back, talk now. Why you see that talk? Now
No, don't worry. Let me say this one. You don't retire. Be like you don't drink too much.
No. I don't even know. The thing is, I know on this matter.
You know, on put voice.
You fear.
Maybe they know follow you on Twitter.
Mine is
okay. My point is, Jide, I think you've put a background to it, and I think you put in anyone who is sensible will understand the angle that you have gone with. And we're not on this table to tell people how to behave.
Absolutely.
It's not a show to tell people how to behave.
It's not a moral show.
It's not. But I think we can be well within our rights to say Victor Osimhen hasn't acted as a superstar that he is.
Indeed.
I don't think he's acted in that way. And I quite understand its emotions. I quite understand its quite feelings in the moment. I quite understand because I don't think Victor Ikpeba has said anything wrong. More so when you think about the fact that Victor Ikpeba was a striker who knew his way to go.
That's an African footballer.
When you hear a guy named the Prince of Monaco. You know, if Osimhen in his career gets named the son of Naples or Prince of Naples, he would have achieved a lot in his career. And when you hear a man like that chastise you for not a personal attack,
it's not
just saying that in the moment, you probably could have done better. And I totally agree with Victor Ikpeba, because understanding of the game, because while the bicycle kick looked really good, I was one of the people who thought maybe he would have chested it down.
No, there was even somebody...
In the moment, I thought he would have chested it down.
But he apologized.
Yeah, he would have chested it down, probably. Because when your head... they say that the best players, the greatest players come alive when the ball goes dead. In that moment, when everyone is going crazy in the box, Messi and Ronaldo, the two, they're the coolest in the box. They're the calmest. They are the ones who keep their heads down. But for Victor Osimhen to toe the line of insult, because this is an insult.
Indeed.
To toe the line of insult is... It leaves a bad taste in the mouth.
Indeed.
A really bad taste. Indeed. Because he's going to be a great player.
Yeah.
But I tell you what can stop him from being great. Things like this.
Indeed.
Because if you cannot learn, Emmanuel Adebayo said, if I went to Real Madrid and I played with Ronaldo, and if I took criticism half the way Cristiano Ronaldo takes it, I'll be a great player. Adebayo wasn't a great player.
Indeed.
He was a very good player.
Yeah.
But guess what? When Adebayo tells you something like that, you know. And I'm sorry, I don't think Victor Osimhen is as talented as Adebayo was.
No.
Adebayo was very talented.
Emmanuel
had
was
energy,
special.
had pace, he could score goals. But if he says things like that, as a footballer, there are times you will hear things you don't like. It don't come well to you, because in the end, when a striker tells you, a striker who has done it at your level,
Been there, done that.
has done it at your
Done more.
level, and tells you, you probably could have done that better. What you want to do is, boss the guy. If you don't like it, boss, do you really think I should have done it that way? But when you start feeling pompous, because that reply is pride. I mean, it's like I play for Napoli and I'm a big guy and nobody should tell me what I should do.
You should probably sit down and wait.
I think he needs to apologize to Victor Ikpeba. And he needs to apologize to Ikpeba and Victor Ashiza Oshuala. Getting entangled with this is absolute shock. Imagine Harry, and I've seen Alan Shearer, the greatest goal scorer in the Premier League. I've seen him criticize strikers in the Premier League. I mean, if you are Harry Kane and something is not wrong with your head,
It's Alan Shearer.
and Alan Shearer tells you you've done something badly,
and then you go talk,
and you now go and are you crazy?
Yeah, that's Alan
Number
Shearer.
one. You have not won the Premier League. All these goals you are scoring. Alan Shearer won the Premier League.
He did.
Alan Shearer turned down Manchester United.
Yeah.
If Manchester United looked for Harry Kane when Man United were Man United, Harry Kane would beg Sir Alex Ferguson. That's a bigger player.
Yeah.
That's a bigger player.
Indeed.
And Victor Osimhen, it's not as big as Victor Ikpeba. Let's be honest.
Indeed.
You haven't won anything. As good a player as you are, you haven't won any trophy. You have won nothing.
Yeah.
Victor Ikpeba has won the African Footballer of the Year. Is there a chance you win that? Maybe, maybe not. But you haven't won it yet.
Yeah, so we don't know.
So you've got to show respect to the man.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, again, there's a place for, like I said, just manage your expectation when it comes to footballers, right? There's a football part that you should love, and then there's a personal part. Some of them merge, some of them don't.
All right, guys. I'm a man that needs no introduction on this show. It remains the Hindsight Podcast. When it comes to talking sport, when it comes to talking football all around the world, you get the best information from this particular podcast. You can always join us online, on YouTube, on IG, anywhere online. You can always join. Even on Clubhouse, we're there for you to dish you the best information when it comes to sport all around the world. Stay tuned always.
Cloud. Reach out.